My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And GagaOOLala is a small streaming service that is delivering queer content to the people. Primarily Asian queer content, but they have other stuff too.
Yeah.
And I just need to come right out of the gate because we're legally required to say this isn't an ad, okay? We're not sponsored by GagaOOLala in any way.
But if you're interested, we are.
We really like you.
Reach out to us. We love what you're doing.
You want to talk? Maybe we'll get a coffee.
Yeah, whatever. But this January, even though it is now February, after a very long January, but also a very quick January.
It was a weird January.
A weird January. Yeah, they added 3 JDramas. And we decided to check out the first 3 episodes of said JDramas to give her the old chatteroony, see what's up in the J-drama world. We got 2 BLs and a GL to talk about today. So that's what we're gonna do. It's sort of like last year we did like 3 KBLs, but now we're going to Japan and adding a GL because we've been graced with one. So
I know, if you're gonna get one, we're gonna talk about it.
Exactly. We have 3 shows, wildly different plots, wildly different vibes, all 3. And that's what we're doing today. So hopefully you're in a J-drama mood. And also if you're listening to this the day it comes out, come back on Wednesday because we're doing a J-drama live stream on YouTube. So listen.
Not entirely BLGL.
No. But just J-drama in general.
Just know.
It's going to be a good time.
We did watch a lot
we did watch
JBL.
Many of them, actually. So which one do we want to start with? Do we want to do BL, GL, BL? Is that a nice framing?
We could kick off with the completed one.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Because one of them is not just, like, the first 3 episodes.
One is the entire show. Because it was a 3-episode J-drama that is called I Became the Lead in a BL. It's a comedy, very much a comedic situation in which you have this poor, introverted child actor who's now grown up and everyone thinks he's washed up. But his manager gets him a sweet gig
grown up
as the lead.
He's a child still.
Yeah, he's 25. He's 20 in the context of the show. He's 25 years old. So his manager scores him a sweet gig as the lead of a BL, and then he arrives on set and he's like, "Finally, maybe this is like just the push my career needs. I need anything to work out for me because, like, I'm really depressed." He's just depressed all the time.
He's a sad dude.
He's a sad little guy. He's a sad, cute little guy. But unfortunately, it seems like his co-star can't stand the sight of him. Won't talk to him. Won't meet his eyes.
It literally tells him to, like, get out of his face. I don't want to see you.
Just seems like he hates him. So he's now even more depressed.
Doesn't even want to look.
Because he's like, what did I do? Like,
everyone else, and that guy's friendly with everybody else on set. Except for
and like also everyone else on set likes the kid as well. They're all like have worked with him before too, so he like knows people.
Yeah, so
they're all like, I'm so glad you're here.
And he's like, oh, vibes are good except for this dude.
Except for like
that I'm starring with.
Yeah, the one dude doesn't want to talk to me, but then you very quickly
the one person I need to know.
You very quickly learn the reason behind this is because this other actor is basically this former child actor's biggest fan and was so nervous at meeting him because he's like the president of his fan club. He has every piece of merch this guy's ever had. He loves this guy.
Every interview by heart.
He knows everything about this guy. And so he's too nervous to talk to his like idol that he stands. I just really enjoyed where the manager was like, oh, so you're his fan? He's like, no, I'm not his fan. I'm his stan. I know everything about
And then
him.
he rips open his zip hoodie to show his homemade shirt.
And yeah, it progresses in a very, fashion from there with delightful comedic misunderstandings and just shenaniganery. It's a goofy 3 episodes.
Oh, also, so eventually the people on set, specifically the producer of the drama,
I love the producer.
They're like, she's like, which by the way, it's the actress from Kimi wa Pedo, and she's great. Which I at first, like, I didn't clock it, but I was like, she looks so familiar to me.
Why do I know her?
I was like, what have I seen her from? So then, anyway, she's a fun character, but like, she goes, the vibes are like not vibing. Let's get them to like live together. Is that okay? And then they're like, sure. It's like, okay.
And
so
we have cohabitation too.
Natalia.
Yeah.
I get
perfect,
this.
perfect.
Natalia was the one to like suggest
Yeah,
this
because like I had watched it and I really enjoyed it because it had all the elements that I'm looking for in a goofy BL. Like, and if you're looking for a goofy BL, this is going to deliver those vibes entirely. And it had a bunch of elements that I enjoy, which is you have an introverted main character, you have a simp, you have forced, like a contractual living arrangement, like, and it's gay. Like, hello? It's very goofy. It has that sort of goofiness that J-drama comedies can pull off, that like it's very similar to sort of like a Thai goofiness that you don't really see in like Korean dramas as much. But oh my goodness. And it's very contained. Like they're not going out and doing like fan signs or anything. Like you can tell this is a low budget show.
Yeah.
But like
they only had a couple of sets made and they weren't going to change those sets.
They're really like using the sets as best as they can for, which is odd,
it's
fine.
Do whatever.
I especially enjoy the last episode. There's a scene where the little ex-child star goes over to his coworker's house to confront him and the guy opens the door because he thinks he's hallucinating him, and then this child star is then bombarded with a house full of his own merchandise, both official and fan-made. And it's just like...
As the guy's standing there with a cardboard cutout of...
A life-size cardboard cutout of him in a previous role. It's a goofy good time, if that's... Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, personally. I know perhaps one of us wasn't that into it. And that's okay.
I'm so sorry.
You don't need to apologize for not liking something. It's fine.
I thought it was cute, but it's too goofy. It spent too much in the goofy area. So then it was like constantly kind of going back to it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I get like really kind of like in levels where it's like, oh, okay. Like, especially when he was like really starting to like realize the living situation. Because there's a lot of like time you're spent in his head and he's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Oh my god, what should we say? Oh god.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of like I was like liking that, but then it would jump back into like a very comedic, slapsticky situation.
There were like parts with they both get internal monologues, and I really enjoyed like the younger actor who's the fan's monologue where he'd be like, today I managed to keep eye contact for 2.7 seconds. I'm so proud of myself. He'd just be like, oh my god, this is pathetic.
I liked the introverts like internal monologue better because he would like when it was awkward still and he thought the other guy hated his guts, he was like very concerned about that. It's like legitimate concern too, because like I would be worried too, because
he was also kind of like worried about like just being an actor in general too, so it was like nice to kind of see that, like, because they do a lot of like little bit of the scene and then cut and then you're like showing the like what's going on on set, which is fun.
And it's based on like this is based on a manga that in the story is also they're making a show based on a manga. And so they will show things that are like really over the top,
manga
like
inception.
manga like style BL. Like there's like one scene where there's like, you know, the love rival in the show, and and it's like he goes up and he's like pushing him against a wall, but he has his like foot like almost all the way to the guy's like shoulder on the wall, and you're just looking at it like, what the no one stands like this. But you're like, but in a manga, they might, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a very over the top, goofy little comedy. But it is also like sweet at the same time. Cause it's like this, he's not weird about being a fan. He's a weird guy, but like, he doesn't make the child actor uncomfortable.
And he's very concerned about making him uncomfortable. Like, he doesn't want to make him uncomfortable.
There's, like, a really cute little moment where they're finally, like, his manager's like, you gotta start being nice to this child actor. He thinks he hates you. And so, like, they're at this, like, get-together. And I just thought it was so cute the way it's filmed, where the little introverted child stars they're sitting on, like, the floor, and he has his, like, legs, curled up like next to him, and then the other guy starts to talk to him, and the shot is from under the table, and you just see his feet like slowly turn to like towards the other guy. I was like, oh, this is too much for old Natalia. It was kind of I enjoyed it quite a bit. It does have two versions. Now Sky and I discovered this and very confused, and I don't really know what the terms mean. But it's not two separate shows. So there's the Crank Up Hen version, which is just the regular 3-episode version. And then there's Crank In Hen, which is like an abridged 1-episode version.
Oh, okay.
So
it's not even just like movie cut of it. It's like even they cut out like scenes and stuff. So.
But this is basically just a movie. Like I sort of watched it more as like a movie because it's 3 45-minute episodes. Like that's just a kind of long movie,
I do like the length of the episodes, so that's nice because you're able to be in the story for longer, especially like with most of these they're like
20 minutes.
And like, yes, in Japanese dramas that's the common like length for this type of like younger series, young adult or new age, whatever it's like specifically called. They're going to be that short, but like it's just when K-dramas also do it as well, you're kind of just like tired with like things being so short just because they're gay. Like it just you want more from it, and so it's nice, especially when you essentially have both the characters doing big monologues like separate from each other because it's all from their head. So you don't have a lot of like dialogue that's back and forth that's like kind of like condensed because they're talking to each other. So you have like there's a lot of time that like it needs it. So it's nice to have it as the 45-minute episode length.
Yeah.
So that is a fun one for thou'st looking for a comedic goofy...
I think if you're like looking for like a little like sweet but like silly rom-com-y with like not a lot of tension involved,
very PG
drama. This is
like
perfect for
with the exception of one scene in the 3rd episode. It's a very PG show. There's a scene involving the 2 managers that's a little PG-13. But which like they really like tease you with this manager story, and then they're just like, maybe we'll make it later. Don't worry about it. It's not really that important. Like
2nd season.
Don't worry. We'll get to them eventually, perhaps. But there's if you don't see it, you see some male nipple. Like, oh no. And it's implied that they are having sex. But otherwise, like the main storyline is very almost G-rated. Like it's very like nothing. So you could easily watch this with like
it's very much
teenager.
Like, oh no, we're gonna rehearse a kiss scene. Like that's the type of
rehearse a kiss
scene. Oh no,
scene.
I need to talk to him, but I know this specific information about him that I can't let him know because I know it from this like one magazine, and I can give you the edition and where it is in this like thing, but I can't tell him that I know his drink preference or whatever it was.
Be like, I made curry for dinner. Like an example would be like, oh, I made curry for dinner, and then the child would be like, oh, curry's my favorite food, and then would go into like the other actor be like, I know, I read that in this interview, blah 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 blah. And you're just like, oh, come on, like so pathetic.
But I will say my favorite part of the drama was how they described why that actor is obsessed with him so much.
Yeah.
And how it came from a very, like, sincere place of acceptance, essentially, for, like, he was pretty much struggling with how people viewed him for his hobbies and things like that. And so then he was just really impressed with how this child actor guy, you know, responded to him and said that he, like, looked up to that and respected people that liked what they liked, and he thought that was neat, essentially. And so that's when it was like, boop, I'm gonna stand you for life. Like, you're the best guy ever.
The best thing that's ever happened to like, this world.
So sweet, just because, like, so many people are so weird about, like, people in fandoms, and they don't need to be, because there are other people that, like, are technically in fandoms that are, like, generally accepted, so, like, doesn't
like
need
no one's weird about sports fans. I don't know. Like,
and they're the same exact
it's the
like
same
obsession. Like like everybody does the same exact thing too in like their fandoms. It's just different people. Like, come on.
And I also really like
baseball cards. Yeah, the same.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
I also really liked how they went into like the child actors like trauma that he suffered from being a child actor, mostly inflicted by his own parents, which had led to him being so just demotivated and depressed and withdrawn. And it's just nice. Like, so even though it was goofy, it still had these like sincere moments in it that I thought were quite nice.
Well, and so I feel like without those like touch points, it would have just been, like, a lot of silliness. Yeah. But, like, I really enjoyed kind of the explanations a little bit of, like, the backstories of things, and I thought that helped add to it, even though you don't get a ton of time with them, like, being a couple or whatever. Like, that wasn't really the point. The point was, like, the journey of them getting together within 3 episodes. Like,
yeah.
And I will say, like, the 2 main actors, so Abe Allen, his, like, physical comedy on point. Like, he knows how to fall off chairs, dramatically throw his hands up. Like, he knows how to do that. But Akutsu Nichika, the child actor, after he realizes that the other guy likes him, there's this long sequence where he's, like, just looking quizzically, like, just confused. And that facial expression has been seared in my mind because it is so perfect of him just being like... like, it's chef's kiss. Like, I really enjoyed the show, and I think if you're looking for a cheerful, cheesy little rom-com, might be
to confirm how much Natalia enjoyed the facial expressions, she even made it like a part of her sticker club stuff, like this past
yeah, it was planner
because she just
stickers.
loved the facial expressions.
I loved it. It was the planner sticker sheet. It was too much. I loved it so much. So yeah, that might be if you're looking for a sweet PG-rated little short show to get you through an afternoon that you're, you know,
have a full story with a couple of hours.
Yep, perfect. We're going to, in this comedy sandwich, the filling shall not
really
be comedy.
Switch it up.
We're doing comedy, not comedy, and then comedy at the end. So,
so forewarning you, this is not going to be a comedy right now.
Jessie, why don't you tell us about our second show here?
Okay, so Chaser Game W is, I guess we could a companion story to Chaser Game, which is the original. I don't know if it's like technically shared universe. Like, I don't know actually how they connect because I haven't seen Chaser Game. But I'm like almost positive Chaser Game is not any sort of like gay show at all. Like, no. I think it's just like a general like, you know, thing. But essentially it is a story about two girls who were together in school, in college, I guess, and something happened and they parted, and it wasn't like a good parting. It was very contentious, and the one girl left and kind of disappeared off the face of the earth while the other girl stayed around. And she works at a video game company, and they are doing a collab with a Chinese company, and they get someone who is working on the Chinese side of things to come in for the stint of this like project, and it turns out to be her former lover. And she is very not happy like to see her, and very, very mad that she's like there. I don't know for sure, like they really kind of don't like make it seem known that like she knew she was there, like the one that's coming from the Chinese company knowing that the girl was there and working, maybe possibly. The other girl didn't at all. She really thought that she had dropped out of the like she dropped out of all of her programs and didn't even think that she would be even in any sort of like job like this. So it's very much it's not really enemies to lovers, but like exes to maybe rekindling their relationship. I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm like worried about the way it's gonna go, but like also I like where we're at. And like I worry because there's so few GLs that I don't want it to be weird. But like I also believe that like just because it's a GL does not mean that it has to be a rom-com. Like like they could just give people who just happen to like the same sex normal stories too. Could. Like there's there's like that kind of thing. It's definitely like does not live in the comedy world at all. Like it's very much she's really essentially bullying this girl. But you do kind of throughout the show kind of see maybe like she did do some like, I mean, she shouldn't be bullying her. She's like, she's the boss to her. She shouldn't be doing that at the work thing.
Professional.
But like they're kind of showing that there's a potential that there was actually a reason. Like it's not just they split up. There was an actual reason. You're like, okay, I understand why you're mad. Maybe it shouldn't be mad this many years after, but at least we have something. It's not just like this girl is just like super sweet, and how could she do like this one girl like pour wine on her like when she sees her.
I'm like intrigued by that aspect of it. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with it though because of that aspect of it as well, where it just feels a little like, mean-spirited a lot of the time. And I'm just like, I
feel like there are some parts where she like does kind of talk about society and how it views like, and it's like homophobic.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's going to be a lot of like episodes to actually like pinpoint on that, but I kind of want it to be like a focus, be like, hey, that's like part of her rage is how the world treats her, and she wants to be with people of the same sex, but she can't because the world is so vicious about it. And I want that to be a storyline. I don't know if it is going to be a storyline though. I feel like it's kind of setting up to just like show their relationship like and what happened in the past, because it shows little brief like moments of them in the past.
But all the brief moments have been good moments so far. So it's just sort of like
except for the one.
Except for the one.
Yeah.
But it's like, So it's like they had a good relationship.
Well,
at some point.
And for the record, a good relationship of 4 years. It's not like this was like a tiny short thing. Like, they were together a while.
I will say one thing I do really love about it is that so many women. The entire office is women.
The entire office is totally like, and they all are at different levels in their lives. Like there's like one's with kids, one's working with kids, like young people, like that sort of thing is really like nice to see.
because that's how offices are, though. Like that's like a but
you don't just like have the
like there's and I liked how they showed it because like even though they kind of like introduced them at some point through machinations, but like at one point, one of the lead gal who isn't from the Chinese company is from the Japanese company. There was kind of an emergency, like she was concerned about something. So she had to call kind of through the phone tree to all of her people. Yeah. And so you saw what everyone was doing in a typical evening. Yeah. And I thought that was really, and everyone was doing something drastically different. Yeah. And that was a neat way to show pretty succinctly, like, people's lives. So, the mom, like, vacuuming and, like, yelling at her kid or whatever to be quiet. And then one of them, it seems like she's always kind of like at a host club type situation.
Yeah, she's just hanging out with dudes. Yeah.
But it kind of seems like that's also her dad's business. Like, she's somehow affiliated with that. So that's kind of interesting. And then, like, one gal, her thing is, like, cosplay and stuff. So she's always, like, at some arcade, like, being in an outfit, like, having a good time.
Just having a fun
It was
time.
neat the way it was shown. I appreciated that. And it was only a moment, really, of just showing that, especially within kind of a workplace story. It was a neat way to show it. I thought.
And it was like a really succinct way of like telling you these character traits that all these different women have. And it's, and, they're really, I will say, like, the show is really doing like the show don't tell with its character building. I think it's fun that they're also making a lesbian visual novel in like the context of what game they're making is like, okay, this is fun, like a lot of lesbian themes, like with all women team, like okay.
Yeah, they're they're all competent in their roles, and like even like though they're so minor characters and our real like focus is on the main two, it's almost like you get to know who they are without ever spending time on it. Like we don't have to like spend a full episode on them. We just like know who they are. We know their position at work, and like nobody's like coming across as like incompetent, like, or they're trying to make someone really a fall. Like, I mean, like I guess the boss is for the girl, but not really. Actually, she like very much lets her. If like she's like I got to do this, and this. The boss is like, yeah, go for it. Like she doesn't kind of stop her in that sort of thing. But like it's nice that we get to see kind of that full group, because it's very clear that besides the boss who's just come in, those girls have worked with each other for a really long time, and they're very close as co-workers. So you get that you within the first 3 episodes, and they're all like 20 minutes a piece, you've like established very clearly their relationship with each other.
I was just gonna say, I will say I feel like so you have the boss that came from China, and she's the one that's the evil boss, quote unquote. But the gal who's kind of leading the Japanese side team, I feel like since they haven't really given her much backstory yet, I feel like she's not really that developed. She seems kind, like as far as even her interactions with her ex. Like she seems very sweet. So she does seem like super innocent until like you kind of see like probably shenanigans.
I think that was purposeful. I think you're supposed to like really think that she was just like this sweet, like
which would make
the evil
whatever
boss
she did
is like crazy comparatively to her. I think that was and like so, the setup.
It almost makes so like even though they've kind of revealed like cheating, it still feels like there still feels like more. It feels like there's
absolutely
way more.
There's a lot more that they're not showing.
In order for this boss, this ex chick to just be so mad, like something really had to go down. So.
And I do really enjoy how they're showing like the Chinese bosses, like what happens to queer people who are forced into heteronormative like relationships because of family or culture or whatever, because she has a daughter and a husband, and she seems to genuinely dislike both of them and not want to be a part of this, and the husband knows, like you can tell that the husband knows that he is not loved by this woman, and he's like a stay-at-home husband who's clearly struggling with that as well.
Also, he has a mother who's constantly going like, she's rich and she's 10 years younger than you. You keep it.
Yeah.
Like,
and so I'm wondering.
A prize for you.
I'm wondering if it's not like a dual beard situation happening with these two. Like if he's also
I didn't
gay.
consider that.
Because I was like, because that would, I could see that being a, like, because otherwise, like, why would
face or something,
like why would he stay with this woman who clearly disdains him quite a bit? Like, because it's not nice to him.
And I'm not sure that she hates her kid so much as she, again, like you kind of said, they haven't really launched into it, but just enough. Like, she was looking at, like, her performance evaluations the past handful of years, and how during her maternity leave she didn't get really good evals, and how that still to this day, and her kid is, 4 or 5 now or whatever, still to this day she's stewing over how her maternity leave made her stuff. And she's still trying to recover from just maternity leave from that many years ago.
I think that's, like, also what, like, with her, like, talking about, like, her disdain for the world because of the homophobia. Like, I think that's also, like, into the, like, disdain for the world because she's female and she's lesser, even though she's, like, sitting here, she's the one who's paying the bills. She's going to work nonstop and providing all this stuff for her family and doing well and making money for the companies, and she knows both languages and can, like, converse with both sides, and still, just because she's female, she's getting these marks. And I don't think that she hates her kid. I think
I sort of misspoke. I don't think that she hates her kid. I think that she resents her child, which is a different.
It's a resentment of just like the societal thing.
I think resentment of like, or resentment, and that, like, the way that she has her family set up is not what the world wants her to have this family set up. So, like,
and that she's
resentment
punished
of, like,
for having this child.
He's not that house.
Like, so it's like she's expected to have a child, but she's also punished for having a child. But if she didn't, like, people would be questioning why she doesn't.
Kid, but I still want my job. Like, I should be able to have both.
And she may have not even wanted to have this kid, but it was like,
that's true.
We don't know yet. Like, but it was, expected of her to have one. No.
And also, so she lashes out at the husband pretty bad. And even that, it seems like horrifically personal, but it's not. It's really just her being super angry at
the situation,
the world,
kind of the roles, and just the whole thing, and the fact that they even have to do this. Like, it's just really frustrating to her.
Yeah,
like, should she be lashing out at him? No, like, she should not.
But also to me, like, it's like someone who's, like, very severely depressed and has to keep going. Like, they're not allowed to, like, they can't be in their bed just standing there. Like, literally can't, because everything would fall apart. So they just kind of have to deal with it, and every little thing is getting to them. Did you recognize the evil boss? Because we've all watched her in another drama.
No. Really good question.
It's a contract marriage.
Oh, she
loves books.
Oh my gosh!
I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh. Because I recognized the other girl who's, like, part of the company already, because she's an idol, or former idol. And I had watched her in a couple of, like, idol dramas. But then I, like, looked at her and was like, you kind of look familiar. And then I was like, oh no.
What's the title of that one?
I can't remember. Like, Ichiro no Kiss.
Title. Yeah. I realized just now that she was, like, the main dude's ex in Usakan, which was, like, one of my fave J-dramas of last year.
Yeah. As far as if you want the English, like, Blinded Kiss.
Blinded Kiss, yeah. Oh my god.
It's the weird librarian one.
Oh my god. I can't believe I didn't realize. Oh, gee. Maybe because I blocked that show out of my memory. No, we're done.
Also, wildly different characteristics.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Wildly different.
Yeah, wildly different show. Oh my god. That's so funny. Oh.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Natalia? I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, I wasn't. I don't even remember. I was just saying that she was
like, oh gosh.
Yeah, that she was the like the ex-girlfriend in one of the ex-girlfriends. Anyway, Usakan has several ex-girlfriends. Usakan, yeah. Oh my goodness, Shijo no Kiss. Oh, Sorry. Now I can't get that show out of my head. Cursed show.
You'll have to go watch it again just to get out of your head.
Just to get it free. Just to be free of it. This is very much not that show.
No. Very much not at all. Not the
vibe.
Same genre. Yeah. I mean, like, she's even styled completely different. So it took a while.
Which is probably why I didn't realize it until you said it.
So I will say, as far as, like, if someone is trying to go into the show like, hey, I want some romantic vibes, no.
This is not.
At least at the moment,
not yet, you know.
Yeah. I will say that, like, I don't think it's actually going to be shy about, like, actual kisses, because we're already starting to see a little bit of stuff, and so there's that. I mean, like, I don't really care about, like, kisses, but I do care about it in the sense that, like, if you're going to put it in straight dramas, you're going to put it in gay dramas.
Put it in gay dramas, you know? Too. Like, don't be playing these
especially games. GLs, because GLs get their own treatment, which maybe that's what the show is, like, actually hinting towards too, that, like, GLs and regular, like, GLs of like manga or video games or anything is supposed to go a certain way.
Something that they talked about, and again, they didn't really talk about it, but it's just because people have mentioned. So like, one of the coworker characters who seems nice and stuff, she's way into BL, like games and manga and stuff. So like, she's a big BL fan, which again, preface, totally fine with that, obviously. But since we're talking about, this is a GL, and they're making a GL, like, game, I feel like they're saying a lot of stuff about society stuff without saying it out loud.
Yeah. I think so.
Now, they are definitely saying some stuff a little bit out loud about, as they're trying to get, as this team is trying to find, like, their composer and their artist and all, like, the big names that they want to attach to this project to hopefully, like, solidify it, essentially. There's this retired artist guy or whoever he is. So they have to go convince him, and they pretty much do that through seductive charms a little bit, which...
Doing a little
it got
flirting.
ick real fast.
Yeah, it was
not
creepy.
On the girl side, on the dude side.
Yeah, he's
not
creepy.
Cool. But, like, though incredibly uncomfortable to watch, not fun, they actually say stuff about it. So it's not like they just did this and, like, oh, we're just not going to touch that. No, like, it became, there's another character on the team that's, like, not okay with that. And she's, like, straight up being like, do we really have to be doing this? Are you actually okay with this?
Yeah.
Well, if it's what we need to do to get these fancy people, and it's like... I'm not okay with it. Well, if you can get the person, go do it yourself. And she goes and she does it just by writing a letter. And so the statement was, but then you see the boss go and still thank the girl that pretty much kind of sacrificed her seductive charms a little bit to the icky guy.
Yeah.
Like, still, you did hard work. I appreciate that. So, like, again, and that's all they do. They don't have this big monologue. They don't have inner thoughts. They don't have anything. But, like, I feel like a lot is being said. Yeah. Shown, kind of. Just the situation shows, like, this is stuff that women have to deal with in the workplace. Even amongst themselves, trying to protect each other, because the whole reason it's a thing is, like, do we, not just me, like, do we all have to really be dealing with this stuff? And then the whole conversation was essentially, well, we can't drink as much as men, so, like, we can't hold a candle to that. What do we have? We only pretty much have our bodies, kind of. It's like...
But I did like
I don't want to have to do that.
I did like that as soon as it happens, they're like, well, turns out he was just a creepy old man, huh? Like, yep, he was just fucking creepy. Okay, well, typical. Like, and this is like a fucking typical, just creepy old man. Like,
right.
But, yeah, just sort of speaking to the reality of life for women in this environment. Because, like,
absolutely,
creepy old men, dime a dozen, my friend. They're everywhere.
Right.
They're everywhere. You can't escape them. I am interested to see where it goes. Like, I'm...
Me too.
Yeah.
I have no guesses, honestly. Like,
especially
the fact that there's a kid involved. It's like,
Yeah.
And it's obvious that since she's not the primary caregiver, like, that's a whole thing too. Like, so I really hadn't the way Natalia mentioned the fact that it might be a double beard situation, I had not even considered that might be a thing. So
that's like a lavender marriage. That's like a classic,
right,
part of the queer community in history, right?
But I will say, so I know this gal is really bitter about the breakup and it's sucky, but you don't, and she is not trying to win her ex back. We know that. She's not trying to, and she's trying to make her feel crappy, obviously. But still, you can still make her feel crappy without like this level. And also, she keeps, the boss keeps like, she toes the line of like, wow, you might as well just come out and say like that you, in front of people doing some of this stuff. It's like, girl, like, no, don't do that.
Have we seen that character in a male? Like,
absolutely, we have. Absolutely, we
drama.
Have.
So,
and so that's, even if this drama, like, if the whole thing later on becomes some train wreck for some reason, like, and it's just all bad feelings or something, it's allowed to do that. Like, it can do that because isn't there a bazillion BLs just like that? Oh yeah, there is.
There is. So it's, you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
But I bet it'll keep saying some little things about society here and there. It definitely feels like it's already kind of starting to say that.
I do think that.
And I do feel like, so there was a character, a like coworker character that showed up, and she hasn't done a ton of stuff yet. She was the one that was like trying to be kind of fighting back against the kind of sexual harassment stuff a little bit. The way she came in and the way she was like trying to hide her face, I don't know. I feel like she's going to be more of a, like, she's going to be doing some stuff. Either someone's going to be attracted to her, or I don't know. I got some vibes there. That's my guess with her. Because she wants to talk about, she like wants to talk about things, and she's younger, so it just seems like she really wants to.
I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah.
How many more episodes do we have? So like,
I don't know.
3 out of 8.
Yeah.
5 more episodes.
So in a more traditional layout for a J-drama, rom-com situation, we have our third choice of the evening, the end of the comedy bread with the non-comedy filling, Sukiyanin Kedo Yadoka, which is I Love You and You, which is about it. This one's a little bizarre, okay? Like, I'm coming out of the gate, weird dynamics in this one, okay? Weird dynamics. So, there's 2 main characters, okay? One is this sort of goofy, very anime Labrador Retriever type character, gay man, who runs a restaurant. I will say, the food at his restaurant does look pretty good. Does look pretty good. And and he lives in Osaka. And then you have a divorcee who's very introverted and shy, who gets transferred to Osaka and shows up at his restaurant, and this gay restaurateur falls immediately in love with
first sight. Like, he goes in and he's like, that's it. You know, that's the one.
The halos coming in.
Time stops for him.
Yeah, every time he smiles, he's like, "Oh no, my heart."
Yeah, he's like, oh. And I will say, one thing I do love about this character is that he does have a straight best friend who does not care that he's gay and is willing to go to the sauna with him and listen to all of his just obsessive chatting about this guy who just thinks they're friends at this point, 3 episodes in. And basically this new guy to Osaka is having basically culture shock, because from what we're led to believe from this show is that the culture in Osaka is much more gregarious and friendly and less centered on politeness than the rest of Japan.
Seemed more jokey.
and like, you know, more outgoing than, you know, like what you would normally see as the societal norm
from Tokyo.
J-drama.
So it was Tokyo in particular.
Yeah. So he's having a hard time adjusting as not only someone from Tokyo coming to a new place, but also someone who's just naturally shy and introverted, and then being thrust into an office that seemingly is full of the most extroverted people you've ever met in your life. And him
they
just
always want to hang out and talk to you.
Always want to be friends. They want to hang out. They want to have a good time. And he's
like
panicked at all moments. He doesn't know what he's doing ever.
Shouldn't we eat at our desk? Let's just sit here.
Like, he's just like, so it's kind of cute on that front.
So then his coworker, at least one, is like, do you hate people? Like, do you hate us? Like, do you hate Osaka people? And he's like,
what?
No, why would I hate Osaka people? I just don't know what I'm doing. Like, it's fine.
And so then this restaurateur, under the guise of friendship, is going to take this much older man. Like, I think there's like a 10-year difference or something. Like, it's made pretty obvious that this salary worker is quite a deal older and in like a different place in life than this restaurateur, who's like in his early 20s.
Yeah, like the restaurant guy isn't like super young though.
Yeah, like, no, he's like mid-20s, I'd say, and then I'd say like the other guy's at least 30, like, but I would say mid-30s. And he's like, I'm gonna take you under my wing and teach you all you need to know about like Osaka culture, because we're gonna be best friends. Like, that's all I'm looking for, is this totally platonic friendship. And
well, he's also trying to tell himself that, like, I'm gonna be just okay with this.
Yeah,
this will be enough. Just being around him,
because he keeps seeing him with the coworker who's female, so he's like kind of like zeroing in on be like.
Oh. But the coworker who's female is a classic female BL character.
Yes.
Who has not realized that this clearly gay man is gay. Which is
and she's also super extroverted and wants to go out all the time.
And they all like
we're gonna go to lunch. Yes.
And also there's like these two like older men who hang out at his restaurant, because it's one of those restaurants that's just like like two tables and like a bar, and
bar,
like the chef talks
and it's
to you.
All regulars.
Yeah, and all regulars. And so they're also like befriending this awkward salary man who keeps getting himself into hijinks above, like, you know, getting in over his head, like, by agreeing to do things that he shouldn't be agreeing to do. It's like a real classic, like, setup, right? Like, that's like a, you know, like, opposites attract situation.
It's interesting because I wouldn't think there would be like a fish out of water type vibe from just going from like Tokyo to Osaka. Like,
well, like, I get it. Like, if you're moving, you know, like if you're moving from, you know, like the East Coast to the Midwest,
yeah,
that would be
or like a city
culture.
even a beach town. Like, I think there's like a drastic culture,
or even
you know.
like New York to Chicago, because there would be a huge.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like, you know, like even if, like, for example, like I live in Montreal, which is like a French city. Like, if you would move from Toronto to Montreal, that would be a wild, like, they're both cities, but that would be like a wild change, right? And I do enjoy that, like, the salaryman character, you're getting some of his backstory of like why his wife left him, and it wasn't because he was a terrible human being. It was just, you know, clearly they were wrong for each other, and that just happens sometimes. And then he's like, I want to actually be a more attentive person who like reciprocates when people do things for me. But meanwhile, you've got this restaurateur like, I don't care if you ever do anything for me. Like, I can do anything for you. I don't care. Like,
you want to make you something special? I'll make you something special.
Yeah, like, you want to.
But then I love the best friend character because he's like, dude, I am concerned because in your past relationships, you get too wound up with the other person's interests and you totally like lose sight of yourself, and you cannot do that anymore. And the guy's like, oh, it's not going to be a thing. It's not going to be a thing. Well, then he starts. So the salaryman character's like, hey, because when we're friends now. come to this art school with me, and come to this like art museum with me, art exhibit. And this poor, really athletically inclined,
so athletic
kid, he doesn't know squat about art, and he finds it really boring. And he's trying so hard.
Trying his best. But then what I like about it is that you can see that even though at this point on episode 3, we're only on episode 3 here. These are just 3 episodes. You can see that the salary man character also realizes that he's not, like, that he has been ignoring this guy's interests, and then tries to like find something to do. So he's like, oh, let's go play squash. Like, and the athletic guy's like, oh, I love squash. Like, yeah, you play squash? He's like, yeah,
I've dabbled.
I've dabbled in squash in college. Like, by dabbling, he watched a squash game one time. Like, that's the vibe here. And so, but then, it turns into a nice moment where he's like, well, why would you say let's go play squash? And he's like, well, I want to do something, like, you did stuff that I want to do. So I really wanted to do something that you wanted to do. And he's like, well, then I can teach you to play squash. And then it becomes like a nice, shared thing. So I'm really interested to see where this one goes, because it's got a lot of like moving parts right now. Like, you've got the girl who doesn't realize this openly gay man is gay, like still trying to like worm her way in. You've got the best friend who's like on the sidelines, like, I don't know, man, like, this guy doesn't seem like he's, into what you're into, if you get my drift. And then what I sort of love is that you have this like simpy golden retriever character, which is usually paired with like a more tsundere type character, but that's not what's happening here, because this guy is just as stupid in a completely different way. Like, he's so clueless about everything. So it's like 2 idiots in love, but like only one idiot is currently in love. But like, I think there's a little something there, like, I feel
I think
he doesn't realize
him. Yeah, he doesn't realize it, but like him sticking around, even though, like, I think that's the thing. He just doesn't. He hasn't picked up on it yet.
Yeah, he's just...
But like, people come to their sexuality in very different times.
Exactly.
Like,
that's fine.
Because as far as like, if you have a magnetism to someone else's vibes, despite the fact that you actually don't have any shared interests whatsoever, that it doesn't have to be like, oh, romantic, but it like, there's something there. Yeah. So,
like, my
as far
husband
as you
and
at
I
least
have
want to
very
be
few...
platonically around somebody.
Yeah, like, my husband and I have very few shared interests, but like, have a great marriage for like over a decade now. So like, it is,
Yeah, I mean, like, he's also like an introverted character, and it's not just like love wins all and like the introvert's gonna magically become like extroverted. Like, it's just not gonna happen, like, especially not that fast, and especially when you've already, like, uprooted everything in your life, too. You've got a divorce, you're in a different town, a different job, the culture is different on both of those things, and you're still just, like, trying to grapple with everything. It's just not gonna, like, match him immediately.
I do like that the energy is, like, guy who's too afraid to tell a waiter that their food came wrong, and then the guy who will tell the waiter that the food came wrong for everyone at the table, and that's a dynamic that's like a really successful...
You need each other.
It's a really
even if you're friends, dynamic. You need that.
You need, like, listen, I can't tell anyone that there's a mistake in my food. My husband can. He'd be like, no, you didn't order that.
See, it's not great if my husband and I were both people that can't tell, so we just deal with it.
Yeah. But it's like, it's sad because I'm allergic to so many foods that it's
good that you have somebody.
I said no egg because I'm allergic to like brownie with egg.
It's not just because I just don't want eggs today.
What do I do? Like...
So something I want to bring up about this drama, though, is which I'm not speaking to, like, I'm just talking about the subtitles. So, like, I can't speak to, like, the linguistics of the Japanese that's being used or anything. But going with the title and then a couple situations that happened, it seems like in Osaka, or at least the situations that the salaryman kept getting into, people would kind of say something, and then they would kind of have a little leading question afterwards. And so, because there's this like almost confession from like the snack bar bartender guy.
Yeah.
And it ended up with like, what are we going to do about it type question. Mm-hmm. And the celery, like, they end up playing it off fine, but it keeps really like being in the celery man's head like a lot. And then even the bartender guy's like concerned that guy's thinking about that.
Yeah.
But then he goes to work, and he keeps encountering all these like leading questions at the ends of statements.
Statements as questions. Yeah.
And he keeps being like, oh my gosh, what is with everybody and the way they're saying.
And it's a dialect.
Like, am I supposed to actually, like, since he's a pretty literal person, he's like, am I supposed to actually respond to this? Like, what is... So, the whole reason I'm even bringing this up is I think it's really funny how it gets mirrored at the very end of the 3rd episode with the gal who, like, she has this... It's a nice moment between the... Prior to this, it's obvious that she's been very gregarious and kind of having a crush towards the bartender guy. Mm-hmm. Bartender guy's pretty oblivious, though he gets warned at least, so he's not, like, way oblivious now. But the nice moment was she's having a rough time at work, and she was just being open about it. She wasn't making that...
Like an
she wasn't trying to be opportunistic about it or anything. She was just being honest. So the guy was just open about, like, well, like, if you need somebody to talk to, whatever. And she wasn't trying to, like, use that against him, but she did see it as, like, an opportunity to then be like... Mm-hmm. And then she pretty much had a confession with a leading question at the end. I was like, oh, there we go. Like, I just thought it was really funny. Because then the bartender was like, oh no, there's a leading question. Like, oh no. I've done it to myself almost.
See, really I find, like, these sort of, like, the dialectical issues that are presented as really funny, because for anyone who doesn't know, Sky and I specifically encounter dialect differences when we talk to each other all the time.
Often. Like, not daily, probably weekly.
Like, more often than you would think, because I'm from the Maritimes, which is, like, a very rural, poor like, they're on the East Coast Ocean part of Canada, which has a very distinct dialect in both English and French, which I speak, which makes me ridiculous in Quebec because they don't understand what I'm saying. I don't understand what they're saying. Same language, different. But Sky and I specifically, like, I will say things and they will mean the opposite of what they mean to her. It's so funny.
I just think it's so funny the way the bartender character is, like, just, like, locked onto him, just automatic, like, I'm gonna make him my people for whatever reason.
He's mine now. That's it. That's the end. But I have no idea how they're going to turn this into a romance, but I'm very excited to see what they get up to. Like, what shenanigans they manage to pull out in the next 7 episodes.
It'll be a slow burn.
Yeah, it's definitely, like... Definitely a slow burn.
So what do you think they're gonna do with that girl character? Do you think, like, after she gets rejected, they're gonna disappear, or do you think that she's gonna become a wingman? Like, totally?
I think she's gonna be a friend. Yeah, like, maybe help with the relationship. She might become the best friend to him. Like,
yeah, because he needs one.
He needs to have
their friends.
But also, it's like they're, if we're going by traditional rom-com, he does have that single, straight best friend just sitting there being a truck driver.
Well, is he single? He was wearing a ring.
No.
Like, I couldn't
he might
tell.
have not been. But it's unclear. I must say, I do enjoy all the really ridiculous scenes at the sauna where he gets really excited and, like, over the top, and then suddenly it'll just be like this, like 10 other just nude men in towels just staring at him like, why are you yelling in the steam room, buddy? Like, calm down. But I don't know what they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna disappear because they've given her too much of a.
Yeah, like, they've given her a really strong character so far.
Yeah.
I like her character a lot. Like, I want her to stick around. So
yeah,
maybe help him at work.
Yeah,
because
I think she's gonna be the social butterfly for him. Like, she's going to be that part for him.
The bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love a good bisexual romance, and I'm waiting to see him like come to his bisexual realization. But I like that the bartender dude is just gay. Like, I like that he's not, like, they're just like, he's pretty much like, he's not hiding that he's gay. He's not like out being like, I'm gay to just random people, but like, he doesn't hide it. Like, clearly his buddy is like, all those other men you dated, and he's like, yeah, like, I like men. I like that because I feel like you don't really see that often, even in BL. Like, there's more common, like, it's becoming, more common, but usually it's like, I didn't know I was gay, or like, I have like a gay thing, or I'm only gay for you. Boo on only gay for you. That lame. But I like where it's just like, yeah, I like men.
But I appreciated how, I'm trying to think of how to say this, because he had like, it seems like kind of a rough breakup. Like, he was pretty hurt last relationship. And so because of that, and he realized he kind of made some mistakes on his end as well because of how he got too wrapped up in that relationship. So not only did he learn that about himself, but he really distanced himself from dating for a while. Yeah. Like, it's obvious that he tried to take himself out of that because he's like, that has not been a thing for a bit because I was trying to not. And I think you don't see that, like, with a main lead BL character all that often, like, as far as, I've been trying to be introspective for a bit and, like, not...
Unfortunately, he's not really one who's made for too much introspection.
Well, yeah, you get Mr. Smiley coming in and he's gone. He's like,
almost paradise, like, oh, like, woo. Yeah, it's
no, he has a handkerchief. Like, do you carry a handkerchief? Exactly. This guy, he always carries a handkerchief.
And that makes him special for some reason. Like...
so cultured.
Yeah. I like I like a good unhinged energy, so it was good times. And we love a good J-drama here at the Nunas, so it's nice to see so many more, especially queer ones, getting, international streaming. And we do love GagaOOLala. Still not sponsored. They haven't called us while recording this.
Still not sponsored.
But, you know what, if you're like really into queer dramas or you want to be into more queer dramas, they've got quite a selection and very reasonable pricing. Like, it's very reasonable pricing. So it might be a streaming service to give the old check out to.
It's got a lot of like different things too. There's a lot of movies, like art house indie stuff, and it's not just Asian countries.
It's international,
like French, even stuff from US.
So it's interesting stuff. So those were 3 GagaOOLala J-dramas that we were checking out this week. We hope you enjoyed, hanging out with us, and maybe check out some of those dramas if they sounded like they were on your level, your speed, as it were. Anyway, we hope you have a great week. You should come back on Wednesday if you're watching this or listening to this at the day it comes out for more J-drama goodness, because we are doing a J-drama live stream where we're going to talk about the J-dramas that we watched in 2023. Well, Jessie and I are going to talk about the J-dramas we watched in 2023. The ones that we like the best. Anyway, and you can listen to this podcast and every other episode pretty much wherever podcasts can be found. Also, they're all on YouTube, and since November of this year, October of this year, like late October, they're all in video now, or it's not just audio. So, of last year, not this year, last year. But you can also go to our website, certifiednunas.com, if you're looking for links, time codes. You can also listen to every episode there as well. So we make it real easy for you to listen to us. And if you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednunas to join the Certified Found family. There are Found family on the web. We love them. They're the best. They're great. They get little extra episodes for patrons only, and a patrons only movie night once a month. It's good. It's good crack. It's good fun. We have a good time. We love the Found family.
We also do movie reviews now.
Yeah, we do weekly mini movie reviews over for patrons only, for the fan family. So maybe if you're looking for that next movie to watch, we may have the goods on something you can check out. Anyway, thank you for listening to us. We'll be back next week with another banger of an episode. And we would like you to stay safe, so please wash your hands and wear a mask. And as always, keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Goodbye.
Bye.